Welcome back to my second live stream about my bland diet, the most exciting topic you will find on the internet. Hopefully we've got sound. I just tried to do this a couple minutes ago and I had no sound. I don't know why, but I changed some things around and hopefully, maybe? Oh, okay, we have sound! Woohoo! You know, it's not one of my live streams unless I have some technical difficulties. You know, this is just the kind of quality that you can expect to get from the Carlino channel. So, bland diet. I'm not going to go into nearly as much detail as I went last time. Last time I went into a lot of what the bland diet is, why I'm doing it, and what my goals are. This is just an update. So, we're up to 3 weeks now, which for me means no caffeine, cutting back on sugar and fat, and even I'm using less artificial sweeteners. I'm on skim milk, and you know, I'm kind of used to it now. So 3 weeks in, I can drink skim milk and not go. So that's a good thing. My typical day usually starts with a bowl of Rice Krispies with skim milk, and a lot of times I put a banana in it just so that it has some taste. Rice Krispies just don't, I mean, there's just not a lot to them. They are pretty bland if you're not adding sugar or anything else. When I was a kid, I would put like a tablespoon of sugar on them, and I really liked when you get to the bottom of the bowl and there was still some sugar like at the bottom of the bowl and the milk, and oh, that was good. Oh my gosh, you see why I've got this problem. Okay, you can understand that this goes back way for a long time. This is a lifetime worth of bad habits that that I'm now trying to fix. Like most people, we do dumb stuff throughout our entire lives, and then you get sort of to the halfway point and it's like, oh crap, maybe I should do something about that. So now I'm trying to do something about it. So yeah, I'll usually start with a small bowl of Rice Krispies with some banana, and that just puts something in my stomach, because I found that when my stomach is completely empty, it tends to roll a bit. Then, you know, a few hours into the day, I'll have some kind of small snack, maybe a banana or a hard-boiled egg, or like string cheese. We found some low-fat string cheese at Target, which doesn't seem to upset my stomach. So yeah, string cheese is good. So, you know, that's something that I can eat and like. Let's see. Lunch, I'll have a sandwich, usually like a ham and cheese sandwich, which literally means 2 pieces of white bread with a couple slices of ham and a slice of cheese, and a moo tube. You know, it's yogurt. It's like yogurt for kids. But it comes in a tube, which makes me feel like an astronaut, because you know you got the tube thing and you're rolling it up, and you know it's astronaut food. So moo tubes, you know, yeah, I eat lunch in my office, so if I don't have to use utensils to eat, then that's a plus, because then I have to go somewhere else to wash the utensils and even have utensils. So that, you know, moo tubes. TM. And if you're a representative of MooTubes, not YouTube, I'll be glad to promote your MooTubes on YouTube. That's my ongoing joke. Anyway, so I'm still drinking a lot of green tea. I make green tea at work. I have a coffee machine which now is used to heat up hot water for tea bags filled with green tea, and I'm usually putting in about half a sweetener packet and maybe like half a tablespoon of honey per cup of green tea. So you know, that's that's my efforts to reduce the the sugar and other nastiness. I'm not cutting it out completely, but from what I understand, honey is better for your stomach than other sugars. So honey good. Um, Artificial sweetener probably not so much, but I need a little something. So you have to give me a little bit of permission here, just a little bit of latitude, because I need something. So, yeah, and on the subject of needing something, I'm going to admit I also every now and then will have the chicken quesadilla at Taco Bell, which is probably not on the list, but like the queso sauce, it's a little bit spicy. So depending on how heavy they go on the sauce, I probably shouldn't be having that. But again, I gotta have something. I mean, I just gotta have something. And so far, it hasn't upset my stomach, which is the goal. But I'm trying to be good. But every now and then, I have to cheat just a little, just a small bit. Went to lunch yesterday at Subway, got a cold cut combo. I did get lettuce and tomato and spinach on it, and in a bland diet, you shouldn't be having fresh vegetables because that's harder for your stomach to digest. But it's a small amount, and so again, I figured I'd give myself some latitude because without it, it's just, some cold cuts and a slice of cheese on a big piece of white bread. It's not as good. So these are the little things that I'm doing, and if somebody jumps online and says, "No, you cannot do that," you're probably right. I'm not gonna have a leg to stand on when I argue with you. So that's where we're at. And then I get to dinner, and my lovely, lovely wife has been very accommodating, making a lot of chicken and pork dishes. She makes a bland stuffing, which is mostly made out of white bread and some very light seasoning, but it's very tasty, and it helps a lot. So that's been good. Um, I did get a little bit of heartburn last night after we had roast chicken with stuffing and white rice, and I think it's just because I ate too much. I was really hungry when I got home, and I took some of the white meat, and then I took a wing, and that's not a lot. And then there was this other wing that was all kind of, it had fallen off the bone. That is how good this chicken is. It falls off the bone. And it's like, this is just sort of a little pile of meat bits. I'll just throw that in too. And by the time that I was done throwing in all the meat bits, I kind of had probably a larger size pile of food than I really needed. So yeah, overeating is absolutely a trigger for me, and it's something that I shouldn't do anyway. So lesson learned. I need to continue to watch my portions because other than last night, I've actually been doing really well about like giving myself a a reasonable amount of food and then eating that, taking my time to chew it and taste it. Nathan Fillion, you chew your food. Mr. Fillion has also been having some reflux issues, and I've had lunch with Mr. Fillion, and he does not chew his food. He dislocates his jaw, and then he shoves the sandwich in and then closes it, and it's gone. It's amazing. It's kind of impressive, but probably not the best thing to do for proper digestion. So, results. I'm losing weight. That's really not why I'm on this diet, but it is kind of a happy side effect. So yeah, I'm down to yeah, I hate to say this online. I'm down to 191, and I typically float around 200. So being at 191 is not bad. That's kind of nice. And 3 weeks ago when I started, I was at the 196 range. So yeah, I've lost about 5 pounds, and what would be great is if I continue to lose, because being overweight is also not good for your digestion health, or any number of other things. There are a lot of health problems that just come from carrying around all of that extra stuff, and blood pressure and cholesterol and all that stuff, which I make no claim to know about. And historically, I've never cared that much, but I'm at that age where I kind of have to start thinking about it. Trying not to, but that's that's the way it goes. And I'm sure that there's plenty of you out there in the internet verse that are right there with me. Um, we love our crappy food because crappy food is delicious. And the best thing about eating crappy food is eating lots and lots of it. But at some point, you kind of have to maybe check that a little bit. That's where I'm at now. So, like I said, I've been losing weight. I've got my cheats. You see me looking off to the side here, and that's because I made myself just a little cheat sheet of the things that I wanted to cover during this update. And actually, we're down here, so we're doing pretty good. Uh, I still have a little bit of throat damage. I can feel it. And if you want to know what it feels like, just put your finger right into your Adam's apple, lightly, just, very lightly press into your Adam's apple. Okay, now you feel that feeling of pressure, like there's something poking you, like say your finger. That's what my Adam's apple has felt like ever since the nasty sick that I got, where I just had heartburn for about 4 days straight that just would not stop, and it's better than it has been, but I can still feel a little bit there. So it's not quite healed yet, and it's probably going to take more time. And so I'm continuing with the plan. The plan is to continue with the bland diet, allow this to heal, allow my stomach to heal, and then step two, or phase two, I guess this is more of a phase two. Phase two is to go, stop taking my prescription for omeprazole, and we'll see how that goes. I'm still taking it, and I still managed to get heartburn last night, which tells me that things are still very, very, very sensitive. But I'd like to see if I can control my reflux with diet alone, and then see how far I get. What would be great is if it turns out that I can go off of the medication and still control my reflux. And if I can't, then maybe I go back and I talk to my doctor and I see where I can go from here. If I can and I can get the acid down, then I will continue, and I will see how long I can go just on bland diet without medication, and probably do that for another week or so, depending on how it's going, and then start to reintroduce some normal foods. And once again, at any point, this is where things kind of get a little bit fluid, so that depending on how things work, at any point I may decide to go to my doctor and say, okay, this is what I've done. Now where can I go from here? And I think that's a decent strategy. I'm much happier to do that than just go to the doctor first, and then when the doctor says, it says, okay, well, what's your diet like? It's like, well, it's cheeseburgers and pizza. You know, I mean, it's it's all well and good to go to the doctor when you're having a problem, but when you know that you're the cause, maybe, just maybe, you should try doing the things that deep down you know you have to do to try and resolve the problem first. And now, obviously, if I were like coughing up blood, or if my acid reflux had continued to stay out of control, then I was absolutely going to go to the doctor. But it did not, and so this has been working. I guess that's my little disclaimer on, so that, if people are saying, well, I don't need to go to the doctor because Clay Carlino didn't go to the doctor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just explaining my rationale, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that that's how I'm doing it. So that's it. That's relatively short live stream, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got. Um, I'll continue doing these video logs, video blogs, vlogs. I don't speak internet. Can somebody out there explain to me how to speak internet? 'Cause I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I will continue to do these whatever you call them updates, just so that you can see how it's working for me. If you're in a similar situation and you're trying to think of what your options are, then my hope is that these updates will be a resource for you to see what you can and can't do, and how well it might work. So that's it. Uh, this is Clay Carlino, letting you know that you do not have to be afraid to change your diet drastically and stop eating food that you enjoy. Yeah, that's a terrible closing, but nonetheless, be brave. We'll see you next week.